Hello to everybody joining us on YouTube, whether you are watching us live or watching me and all of my imaginary friends in here that are working together tonight to get pictures of clothing. I'm going to go ahead and get this loading up on TikTok and we will get this party started. All right, we're going to get some bags labeled. So we've got bags to put stuff in. And let's see who our first people are. If you are joining us on the replay on YouTube, feel free to ask any questions that you have during the chat or afterwards. Or if you want to find me on other social media platforms, I'm literally everywhere. So just look up Nice Comps. You'll find us. Ooh, who's it going to be? Oh, Mike's the first one in tonight. Hello, Mike. Welcome in. First one in for the evening. Hey, Mel's. Yvette's here. Chantel's here. Oh, God's here. Always love saying that. Hey, Jean. Hey, you guys. We're finishing up. This is a monumentous moment. I'm finishing the very first roll of my SKU numbers. You guys get to be on the live tonight with me as we get done doing our very first roll of SKUs. So that means technically I will have listed 941 clothing items. Most of that within the last 30 days. And yeah, we got to get a new roll. So I got a new roll here. I got these on Amazon and they fit into my Rolo perfectly. So we're going to have to print some more out. That's like really exciting, you guys. Hey, Court. Hey, Ruby. Welcome in. Thanks, Mike. I know, isn't that crazy? Like, for those of you that have been following me on this TikTok journey for the last 3 weeks, like I've only been doing go lives. It hasn't even been 3 weeks yet. I think it's just shy of 3 weeks. And we were at, I think when we started this, we were at like 600. So that means we listed 300 items this month, like in under a month. Whoa, that's crazy. So much listing, but I have so much stuff because I sourced last summer and I didn't list any of it. So I got a garage full of stuff and I garage sale every Saturday, as you guys know, which is what we're going through tonight. We have like so much garage sale stuff from this weekend to get up. Dee, welcome in, you guys. Thank you for leaving hearts in advance. I appreciate it. It lets me know that you're with me and you're here and I am not just by myself talking into the ether world. That there's really people and they're watching this and you're not just like scrolling on by. I mean, maybe you are, but hey, Gilly. Hey, Mina. Jeannie. All right, let's get started, you guys. Okay, so a couple things. You're probably going to ask questions about this, so we'll just go over this first. Normally, I have all my stuff hanging up, and then I do photos, but I have been in, like, hyper-focus mode today. Got up 23 listings onto eBay, so I've just been, like, literally hyper-focused, and I was like, oh, my gosh, I need to photograph stuff. So normally, I like to get my stuff hung and let it sit for, like, I don't know, like a good day, because then the wrinkles get out, and I don't have to, steam it or anything like that. But we didn't plan ahead, so we're hanging as we go today, kids, and kind of going over like each item where I got it. Some of this stuff is garage sale stuff from last weekend. I think a little bit of this is stuff from our garage hoard that we did. I still have like 30 something boxes of that stuff to go through. So we'll be going through that this week as well. But I have all of this clothes and I still have shoes from the weekend before. So my listing room is full to the brim. Gigi, hi. The cat's meow. I like that. Okay, so where did we get this? We picked this up at the thrift store this weekend. There was a garage sale right by a thrift store that I have locally. I don't normally get stuff from the thrift store, but I was there and I thought I'd pop in. Usually what I do is I just flip through the men's stuff really quickly. And then at this thrift store, I go to the shoes because their jeans and stuff at this thrift store are really expensive. and their shoes are really not expensive. So I usually go to just pick up a few pairs of shoes, and I always score there. I got a pair of limited edition high tops recently for $5, and they're a $210 pair of shoes. So that is like, I like going there for this. But this was only $3. So I am a different kind of seller. I go off of name brands, but I'm really what I call an aesthetic seller. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this before, but it's someone that's purchasing items because of what's popular and what's kind of going on right now, not just the brand of something. So I know a lot of sellers just rely on just the brands of things, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also am going for the aesthetic, meaning the look. What does it look like? Who's wearing this shirt? Is this something I can sell on Depop is usually my question, because I am mainly, I guess, a Depop seller, which we've recently found out that I sell most of my stuff on Depop. So, ooh, thanks for the like, Envy. Thank you. 127 hearts already. All right. Okay, so we got this at the thrift store. I spent $3 on it. I'm going to take the tag off. The nice thing about getting stuff from the thrift store is it's pretty much usually always clean, which is really nice, especially this thrift store we have here. They are very tidy. So I got this, though, because of the aesthetic of this. So this is a little local Austin-based company. It's called Flameless Shirt Designs, 100% cotton, made in the USA. But the reason I got this wasn't just because of all of that. It's because of the aesthetic. So when you look at this, this is what I call a scroll stopper. And what that means is if somebody is on Depop, because remember, if you don't know how Depop works, Depop is like for buying clothes, but it's also kind of like a social media hub, meaning that people like items in there, not just because they want to buy it, but because they like it. Think about it this way. Malls and stuff don't exist for kids to like go hang out at anymore. So Depop's kind of like the mall, if that makes any sense. So this is going to stop them. This is the item that's in the window, at Hot Topic or something, and people are like, what's that? So that's what this is. This is a scroll stopper. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to sell pretty gosh darn quickly over on Depop, would be my guess, but you never know. Sometimes we're surprised. A couple other things I use. I'm going to get questions about this right here. This is a lanyard. I did not make this. I wish I could claim that I made it. It's really cool. They have them on Amazon. They have different brands, different sizes. I like this one because of the length. So when I'm taking pictures, I'm able to take a picture and then just drop my phone, which is super, super convenient. If you want to know how to get it, when you hop off here, you can go over to my About Me section on TikTok, clickety on the old linkety, and it'll take you over and you'll be able to find it. So the first thing I'm going to do here is we're just going to button this up. I also got this because the buttons are like really crazy on this. Oh no, is it missing a button? Oh no. I thought I checked all the buttons. I thought I checked the buttons. Oh man, we're missing a button. That is such a bummer. Ooh, I wonder if this button came off in my room somewhere, because I feel like when we went over this shirt the other day that all of the buttons were here. I just feel like they were. So wouldn't it be great if there was an extra button? Okay, here's what I may do, because this is such an insane shirt and I just know it's going to sell really well. I may actually, this is a charity move. I think I'm going to reach out to this company and find out if they have any of these extra buttons, because it's a local company to me. The reason I want this button is look at this thing. It's sick. It literally looks like flames when you move it around. Like it looks like a gradient fire. So I'm going to see if they have one. If they don't have one, then what I'll do is just get another button that's kind of cool and use it as the top button. And then I can just pop that button down here. Now, normally I wouldn't go into that much like work for an item, but I think I can probably get like 45 or 50 bucks from this shirt. So I want to see if I can find that button. Unless I lost it somewhere in the room, because I really feel like we checked that the other day and that it was there. So we're going to hang this one up and move on to the next thing. And I always reach out. I'm also the girl that's in the middle of trying to figure out where this hood pair of sneakers. I'm like messaging Mitchell and Ness about it. Like I will go deep for an item if it's something I know I can make a little bit of money off of. Okay, next item we have here. This is another thing. I didn't buy this because of the brand. I bought it because of the aesthetic. Let me see. Do we have any questions too, you guys? And if I know I talk kind of fast, so if you guys have any questions while I'm going over any of this, or you just have questions in general about like taking pictures, sourcing, any of that stuff, feel free to ask. I'm not ignoring you if I don't get to it right away. I'm just busy doing this. So this is a brand called Return to Sender. I am not familiar with this brand. However, I got this because of the aesthetic. So it's got that totally like 90s LA kind of vibe to it. It's got graffiti on the top. It says Los Angeles, California. It's meant to look like a movie strip. So this is something that will probably end up selling over on Depop would be my guess. Again, it may sell somewhere else, but just judging by the look of it, I have a feeling that that's probably where it's going to sell at. Now, these hangers are great. You can pick these up over at Wally World. And what's nice about them is the tops rotate. So when I'm putting them up here in my photo box, I'm able to just quickly and easily turn the hanger. So we're going to get this hung up here. And we're going to take the arms here. Now, normally I would just smooth the arms down, but the shirt is so baggy and big that if I do that, by the time I take the picture is going to be really small. So what I'm going to do is just fold in the arms like this so that I can still get the majority of the shirt and the graphics, but the picture won't be so like huge at the end of the day. So just going to tuck this down here, and then we're going to get a picture of the front. Now, whenever I start photos for the night, I always make sure I'm looking at the first couple photos because I want to make sure that they don't look weird. So I'm going to look here. We're going to get a picture of it, and then we will judge together what we think. Not bad, right? Looks pretty good. Oh, that arm looks a little funky. Let's just smooth that down there. Arm looks a little weird. We don't want weird. Let's take a look here. We want nice and crisp, right? Okay, let's take a look. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? What kind of board do you have? That is a great question. You can either find the instructions on this within my TikTok, or you can hop over to the old YouTube. And if you look in there, you'll find a video that literally has start to finish how to make it. And it even has all the linkities for you to click on to find this stuff. Do you have that at a slant? Absolutely. It's at about a 25% slant, God. Yeah. Party with Maria. Thanks for the like. Okay, so that's our first picture. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the shoulders first. And then we'll do pictures of the rest. So this is great too, because this is aesthetically a super loose and baggy shirt. So I'm going to be able to use loose and baggy in the verbiage. Now this does have a couple little tiny spots here and there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little ruler here and I'm just going to point out the spots. Now, if this was a super, super expensive shirt, like maybe over $50, I'd probably take the time to try to get these out. But I am what's called a turn and burn seller. I want it in, I want it out, and I don't want to spend a bunch of money because you know what? Time is money, money is time. And every minute I'm taking trying to fuss and muss and make something perfect is like money out of my pocket. Make it $1 cheaper than you normally would, and it'll still sell, especially if it's over on Depop. Depoppers don't tend to care as much about an item being perfect. In fact, half of the time they're buying stuff over there because it has like a grunge aesthetic. What in the world was that? Oh, was that my light? That's funny. We've been trying to come up with a way to have that light up there, and that obviously wasn't the way. Okay, so once we get the back image, now we're going to bring it over here to our table, and we're going to get a picture of our sizing. And like I said, I am not familiar with this brand. I don't know if you guys are. It's called Return to Sender. I don't know if that is a big brand or not, but again, we bought it for the aesthetic. Yeah, wash and wear, exactly. So some of your keywords or descriptive words for something like this is going to be like loose, baggy, 90s, retro, Y2K aesthetic, hip hop, LA, Cali. You could probably even throw skater, surfer, like anything kind of California music, concert tee, graffiti, movie clip, Hollywood. So there's so many different things that you could say for a shirt like this. And really those descriptive words make a huge difference. So if you ever hop over to any of our selling platforms like eBay or anything like that, you will see at the bottom of every single one of my descriptions, I have a bunch of like miscellaneous words. And then there's a number. The number is my SKU because I put it in the listing and then I also put it in the actual like metrics of it. Or I don't know what to call it, the descriptive item description area. And I put them on both places because it's easier for me to see just when I'm pulling stuff. So that way, if I mess up numbers or something, I'm okay. Yeah, so I put all those descriptive words in the bottom of each of my listings. So you're welcome to take a look at those. And I think they really work. Some people say they don't, but they work for me. And I'll tell you what, my older listings that don't have those in there that have been sitting aren't selling. And my newer stuff that has those words, I have like an 80% sell through rate right now. Like it is crazy how much stuff is selling. I am like typically selling around 10 items a day right now, which is if I'm listing, let's say 18 items and I'm selling 10, I mean, that's pretty bananas. Now, that being said, we have about 800 things in our store, but about 600 of those are like old busted listings that I literally need to go through. All right, something else I do, which I know is a little bit different than other resellers, is I like to keep pictures of my listing numbers, and this actually just saved me earlier today. So I have pictures of this because I wrote, I don't know if you guys were with me earlier when we were doing shipping, but I had a Nike hoodie I had just sold, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it in my room, and I couldn't find it, and I was like, all right, I wrote this number down wrong. I know I did. I wrote it wrong in the SKU area. I wrote it wrong in my description area. I went back and looked at my photos. The SKU was supposed to be 651. It was actually like 904 or something like that. Like it was totally, completely off. And I realized too, I'm like, oh, this can't be 600. I just listed this and we're on like the 900s. So I was like, it's got to be wrong. And so I went back through my pictures and figured it out. I think what had happened was I had sold a purple dry fit Nike shirt a while ago that was numbered like 600 and something. When I did sell similar, I forgot to change those. So this right here, just taking a picture of that, saved my booty. Now, the other thing that I do is I write down when I'm taking photos, I write down the information right there, because that way when I sit down to list, I can literally just power through my listing. It's why I was able to get, so much stuff listed today, is because I just look at it, click sell similar, put it in my specs, look at my thing chart, move on next. I don't have to like zoom in and go through every single photo. I just do it now while it's easy. So this is a 2XL. That was SKU number 923. Our measurements are the following. Chest is 25. Our length is 29. I got to turn up my brightness. And our shoulders are 22. So just having that there, I'm going to be able to list that later and just be able to be like chest, length, shoulders. Oh yeah, there's a spot. Don't forget to disclose that. And it just makes it fast for me. I made this. It's very fancy. I used an old notebook, a ruler, a Sharpie, and a highlighter. That is the fanciness that I am. I always say I am what I call sweatpants fancy. Like sweatpants are fancy for me. Okay, so we got that down. Our return to sender shirt. What do we got next? Here is another little Depop item. Again, this is not anything fancy. It's The brand is next level, which is nothing. I got to kind of cover this part up here. It's got a couple pew-pews on it, but it says printed, and it is from Belton, Texas. I have found that anything kind of Texas-y, Austin, Texas-y, anything like that sells really well, just like Vegas, Nashville stuff sells really well, Alaska, Nevada, Santa Fe. What else? Do you guys have any like specific parts in the country where like if that verbiage is on something, it sells really well? That's all I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's more. So we're going to get this hung up here, and it is going to need a little lint roll. This is one of the other little tricks and gadgets I do. I keep a lint roller right here by my station, and it has a string attached to it. It's very fancy. It's just a piece of string I had around the house, and I like to just have that on there, and I'll show you why here in a second. Because once I get done lint rolling, I can just drop it, and I don't have to worry about setting it down and then finding it again. Because I don't know about you guys, but I always am thinking like time is money. Every time I got to pick something up and set it down, that costs me a few pennies, and I don't want to do that. So we're gonna get a picture of this here. I'm gonna change my exposure a little bit. So if you are photographing anything that's like dark colored, please make sure that you turn your exposure down a little bit if you've got the bright lights, because this truly is like a, dark black color still. But once you take the photo, it can look gray. And if someone wanted it to look a little gray and they get it, they're going to be disappointed. So I want things to look exactly like they look when I have it, away from the super bright lighting, because it's not like people are going to walk around in this bright of lighting. And then it's got just a couple pinholes on the front here, no problem. We'll get a little photo with our ruler, and then we will turn this puppy around, get the back, get a little lint roll. Again, if you guys are asking questions, I'm not ignoring you. I'll take a look when I get back over there. Feel free to ask anything. I'm a pretty open book. I know how much I depended on a lot of sellers when I first started too, and I still do. I mean, I'm messaging people all the time. I'm sure I've even messaged some of you guys asking for advice that are watching this today. So let's get a picture of this back here, and then we will get a picture of the tag. And it is not a fancy brand. It's just a next level. It's nothing, crazy fancy, but it is the aesthetic that I'm selling. So it's going to be biker, moto, Western style, cowboy core, country boy, Texas, Austin, bike life. I mean, the amount of descriptive words that I will have to go with this is going to be bananas on this one. So when I'm outsourcing, that's what I'm constantly thinking. I'm not looking for just name brand stuff. I am looking for, do I think I can sell it because the way that it looks? Or do I think I can sell it because I can already see the person that's going to buy this? And that's kind of how I decide stuff too, is I'm always asking myself like, all right, who's going to buy this? Is this someone that's going to shop online? And I buy it. How does the shirt stay in place? Yes. So that is some felt. I just picked it up at Hobby Lobby. I paid like $9 for it. So it's just one giant, huge by the yard piece of felt. You just want to make sure the stuff that you get is like, it's not the kind of felt where the little stuff's going to come off. So this kind of felt is like, do you remember when we were kids and we would do like crafts in school and we'd cut out like faces or stuff like that, and then you'd glue it to something? It's that kind of felt. So it doesn't have any like fuzzies or anything. You want to make sure that it doesn't have fuzzies, or that would drive you bananas. Every once in a while, it'll get, just strings and stuff on it. And then I just use my lint roller on that. Did I miss anything else, you guys? Sorry if I missed anything here. Thanks. Oh my gosh, we're almost up to 1,000 hearts already. Yeah, baby. Hey, Cece. CC Flips is great. If you guys aren't following him, give him a follow. He has some amazing tips, and he does a lot of like Bolo brand stuff, which is great. Yeah, Libs, no problem. Happy to help. Okay, so this is $8.92. Let's take a look here. And I'm just going to put Austin as my descriptor. And what are our measurements on that puppy? So that is a 2XL. This will be a Depop too. I would be shocked if it sells anywhere else because it is not, it's not a name brand. So it's not something that's going to be searched. This is going to be searched because of those trigger words in your description, those descriptors. That's going to make all the difference in the world. So let's see, we got 30.5 for length. We have our chest is 23.5. And then I'm going to write PH for pinhole. So if you're wondering what I'm doing down here, thanks for the like, Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie with the likes. Okay, so this is what I'm doing down here is I'm just writing down some information. And that way when I go to list it, it's already there. And it just makes life like way easier. To move these extra bags over. Oh my gosh, you guys, my room is so trashed. I don't understand how I trash this room in like less than a couple days. Like it's pretty crazy. Okay, the next thing we've got here is an Under Armour shirt. Now, this isn't something I always pick up. I only really pick them up if they're super cheap. So I got this for like 50 cents. It may even have been like a quarter at a garage sale. I got it because of two reasons. So one, it's the heat gear, which means that it's super breathable. This is Under Armour's version of like Dry Fit by Nike. There's this, they're called heat gear. But more importantly, this is a 3XL. So I always try to buy big sizes if I can. They sell really, really well for me. And a lot of my people that are buying this size will buy multiples. Like they'll buy a few 3X things in my store, or I have a lot of repeat buyers. And by a lot, I mean like I probably have like 4 or 5. But they'll come in the store or they'll say, hey, if you come across any other, Dickies in a 3XLT, let me know. And I try to remember all that stuff. But normally they'll just come back, and I have messaged a few people and been like, hey, I've got some new stuff in the store. But so here is our shirt here. This is probably a $12 shirt. It's nothing super fancy, but spend 50 cents on it, sell it for $12.50. And these are also kind of little bread and butter things. So I do free shipping on bundles on Depop. So how I price things is assuming that someone was probably going to get this along with something else. So I'll make this item a couple dollars more than what I would make it normally. And that way it'll cover my kind of shipping costs. Plus I always pad my shipping a little bit. So even though I'm offering free shipping, I'm selling 2 items. Everything's padded a little bit, and it usually comes out in the wash. Plus, like I said, I am a turn and burn seller. So I am looking to sell things as fast as humanly possible. I want stuff in my store, and I want stuff out of my store. I don't want to sit on inventory. I don't want to have to like delist and relist something 300 times, because when I do that, it's like, yeah, you know what? I could make $2 more on that item, but if I have to delist it and relist it 5 times, am I really making any extra, or am I costing myself money because I'm trying to, make that extra $2 or whatever? For me, it's like sell it, get it in the store, get it out of the store. What do I need to do to turn and burn that item? I don't know if you guys have a different opinion on that, and if you do, that's of course totally fine. But for me, I want stuff in, I want stuff out, I want to pay my bills. So I want it in and out. And more importantly, I really like sourcing. It's my favorite part of this job. So the faster I can sell stuff, the more I get to go out and source. Anybody else agree that sourcing is the funnest part of this? I don't know, maybe you like a different part of it, but for me, it's like my 2 favorite parts are when my phone goes ching and when I get to go out in source. Stephanie says definitely. Yeah. Hey, Marlene. Hey, Linz. Chance's mom. Hi, guys. Okay, we're going to get a picture of the tag here. And then is there any other tags that need to get photographed? Probably down here. This feels pretty modern to me. I can't imagine this is an older one. 2015. So it's not super old. It's not super new. It's kind of 2015 is like this weird in-between time. Because it's like, it's not Y2K anymore, but like, is it modern? I mean, it's almost 10 years old. Is that considered modern? I feel like we're going to have to come up with a word for like between like 2011 and like 2017, 2018. There needs to be like a word for that. Like that's not Y2K. It's technically modern, but is it really modern? Like, I don't know. Have you guys seen any words out there that describe that? Did you miss any good stories, Jennifer? Maybe. You know there's always a good story. I guess the only one I could think of so far is we're missing a button on this amazing fire shirt, which I'm convinced probably fell off in the room somewhere here. If it didn't, then I will be connecting with that company and seeing if they have any more buttons. And if they don't, I will be sewing a new button on the top and then move the other cool buttons because I really think I could probably get $40 for that shirt. Like, and I used to work in, okay, here's a little story. One of my very first jobs ever was at the Central Washington University at the Yakima Valley Community College subdivision. I got hired to work in their drapery and furniture reupholstery shop. So I used to take curtains and then pull the divots together for the old curtains. They used to have the hooks on it that would like go up and in with the pull things. And then we'd also re-sew cushions and all that kind of stuff. So I know how to sew a little bit. I'm not a seamstress or anything, but I can definitely sew a button on, and that has come in handy a lot. Every job you do in life, you wind up carrying it over to the next thing. Flipping nurse, yeah, always. Hey, Lori. Okay, the next thing we've got here, we've got quite a few of these. And I have a feeling what will happen with these is I'll probably get them listed and I'll probably end up with the same person buying a few of them. I have a feeling because they're all in the same size range and they're all like kind of a unique size. So this is a 3XB, which you don't see very often. So it's like a 3X big and tall. So like, look at how big this shirt is. I'm 5'9", so it tells you how big it is. So the person that's buying these is probably going to buy a couple of these because it is kind of a hard size to find. And this is an older polo Ralph Lauren. It's not as old as some of these. Like this is an older one. Let's see, where's that other one that we have? Oh my gosh, you guys, I have so much stuff. This is insane. I don't even know where they are. Piles. I have piles of stuff to list in here. But anyways, this is not a super old tag. It's probably a 2016, I would say. Let's see if it's got its tag on it. Sometimes the date code will be on these. Let's see. Supplier. It's still got the woven tag, though. It may be a little older than I think. Yeah, I don't see anything on here. So some of the polos will have like a size tag on it. This one just has a supplier number. But this is a good example of a shirt that these are bread and butter items. In the store, out of the store, in the store, out of the store. I spent, what did we get these for? I think $1 a piece this weekend at a garage sale. Now this does have a little spot on it. The question is, does that come off? Oh yeah, that's nothing. It is a little dusty. He definitely needs a nice wipe down here. He's looking a little fuzzy. This guy's been sitting in some dude's closet for, a very, very long time. I find these kind of shirts a lot because either the husband isn't this size anymore, or he's retired and he doesn't have to wear this kind of stuff to work or whatever. So I find a lot of those. We're just going to take a little napkin here, and we're just going to get that spot real quick here. Always keep a little something close by just for a little rub there. Let's see. You don't want to rub too much while you're trying to take photos, because then you'll end up with like a dark spot on the picture. This shirt already has like a little tiny spot right, where was it? Right here. So, but it's in really good condition, like especially for this size. Like I'm telling you, if you guys are snoozing on this plus size clothing, you got to pick it up. Like it always sells for me. It usually sells even faster than just like the regular size stuff. The big and tall stuff just always sells for me. And I can usually get a couple dollars more for it. We're going to bring the exposure back up to normal for this. Perfect. And then let's take a look at our photo, make sure that looks right. And it does. And then let's get some measurements. So yeah, always pick up anything that says like XB, anything that says XL, anything that says XLT, also a pickup. And this will probably end up selling to the guy that's going to buy some of these other ones. They'll bundle them together, and then I'll get to ship it all together, and it'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's what I'm talking about. All right, and then we're going to turn this. And I just got these hangers here off the old Amazon-y, and they were not expensive. They work really well. And I always hang my polo shirts on them and all my men's dress shirts, because they give that little bit of like scoop out that you want when you're doing these kinds of shirts. All right, let's get a picture of the back of this. And then we'll get a picture of the tag as well. Oh, thanks for the gift. Thanks for the rose. 5 roses. Painting the roses red. We're painting the roses red. Trisha's fly hanger does wonder for these bigger sizes. Yes, and I actually messaged her. And she is the lady that I had messaged. So when I first started doing this, one of the very first people who I ever saw their little photo setup booth was Laura from Wild and Almost Free. She's got kind of a version of this, but she doesn't do the whole length. She does like a half one. And she had that hanger. So I connected with her and asked where she got it. She left me to Trisha. I had messaged Trisha and said I would love to get some hangers. And she's like, I don't know, my husband's going to make any more. And so when I think, Jennifer, actually it was you that had suggested her. And I was like, I don't know if that's the same lady I messaged. So I went back and through my messages, and it was. So I re-messaged her. She's like, you'll be the first one to know. And I was like, okay, right on. So, because hers look like, I love the way that hers look. I think the only downside for me would just be like, I usually like to hang all my stuff up ahead of time, so I wouldn't have a bunch of them, but they'd be great for shirts like this. So, hey, Buffy, thanks for joining up. 1.3 hearts. Goodness. Showing the love tonight. Jen's here. Yeah, it fills out so well. Like, she does, like, I'm telling you, I'm like, your husband should be making those for a living, because I think that you guys would kill it doing that. Okay, so 924 is our, oh, you know what? And we didn't put our Under Armour specs down, did we? We did not. And that was a 3XL, I think. What number was that? See, and this is why we go by our pictures too, right? So 893 was our Under Armour. And then let's take a look at our measurements here. And I did this, I always do the sleeves on the long sleeve. I don't always do the sleeves on the short sleeve. I know a lot of sellers that do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with either way. I just don't usually do it on the short sleeve unless it's like a weird length or there's some strange caveat to it that makes me feel like I probably should. But normally I only do it on the long sleeves. So the chest is 25, so 50 across on that. And this was a 3XL. And then we've got, and what year did we say that was? A 2015. Perfect. Okay. And then our polo is Shoulders are 22 on that. Looks like our sleeves are 24. Our length is 33. I think I'm like due for an eye checkup and probably a stronger pair of glasses. And then our chest is 27.5. And that is our polo, SKU number 924. And that was a 3XB. Very, very rare size. Very rare size. All right. So you guys are going to get to see me make my new row here. You could time me if you want. I think this usually takes me, I think last time it took me like 2 minutes to do this. Could I probably save time by getting these printed out like at Staples? The answer is absolutely. But I have old notebooks and I'm totally that person that wants to use up the things that I have because I'm kind of like Scrooge McDuck and I do not want to have to dip into my funds for anything if I don't have to. So I'd rather just use what's laying around the house. I also think that's relatable. Now, once I run out of notebooks, which weirdly enough, I actually almost am. Justin was commenting on that the other day. He's like, I think you've gone through almost all of our notebooks. Once that happens, I probably will like make up a little thing and then I can just get them printed out at Staples. I have a printer, but I'll be honest, the amount of money it is for my ink does not warrant me using a printer for things. And I can't fit this kind of thing in my thermal printer or I'd use that. So I just draw it up really quickly. And then we use our highlighter, which is apparently not in this room because I did something with it. See, this is what happens when things are not fastened to me. I end up with missing things. So we'll just have to do that later. That's fine. I usually just highlight the corner so that I know what number it is. Oh, Coley. Hi, Coley. I was wondering if you were going to pop in tonight. I'm happy to see you. Back to school will be on clearance soon. Yeah, I'll be able to get more notebooks. You know me. I'm a clearance girl. I have no shame in my game. I walk in the store and I immediately go to the clearance section. That being said, I almost always buy everything used anyway. So I had to go into, I think I might have told this story like a couple weeks ago, but I went into Kohl's to get some shorts because we were going to be going to Schlitter Bonds and I needed shorts for my swimsuit so I didn't sunburn really bad again. And I was like, okay, I just need some shorts that have zip pockets. I walk in there. It was like $46 for a pair of like just regular shorts. No big deal. And I searched and searched and searched. I was trying to find clearance. And finally my husband was just like, just buy the shorts. He's like, they're $46. It's fine. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to spend $46. And I wound up selling something while we were at Kohl's. And he's like, you sold something. And I was like, it was like $8 shirt. And he's like, okay, well, 46 minus 8, more reasonable now. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know how to work me. Like, he's like, just buy the shorts. I can't buy it retail unless I'm going to buy it for retail arbitrage or something. Okay, moving right along. Next, we've got another larger size. So this is a 2XL. Then I think the nice thing about garage sailing too is that if there has been other people buying clothes there, and I always forget that other people go to garage sales, not just because they're resellers, but because they actually are looking for things for themselves. Yeah, Jennifer said she's the same. I went to Marshall's last week and they had 3 Jack and Sally book bags for $14.99. Whoa. That's my heart right there. My dogs are literally named after Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack and Sally. Went back today. Oh no, you snoozed on it. Oh, that's the worst when that happens. Oh man, that's like, oh. But yeah, so the nice thing about going to garage sales is I find a lot of big sizes there because if there's been other people there buying stuff, then the chances of them being just like buying just like your average pair of pants, your average size is usually better than the larger sizes, especially like the super tall stuff. And so I find a lot of my like plus size stuff or my big and tall stuff at garage sales, which is great. Cause like I said, I can always ask a little bit more. And it seems like people will buy more than one item at a time. And I've had more return buyers because of the plus size stuff than I've had with just straight up people buying, something one time. So we're just going to button all these up here. Normally this is stuff that I have done all ahead of time. And usually it's hanging and I'm all organized, but I live a life of an ADHD hot mess. So there you go. And that's okay. And I'm fine with it. And I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. All right. We're getting this up there. My brain is neurospicy and it makes its own choices. Okay. We're going to get all the lids off of here because this is a dark shirt. So, of course, it has little tiny guys all over the place here. Little linties. I always keep a piece of rolled tape here so that I can roll down edges. I'm not altering the item. It's just the pocket is slightly bent right there just from sitting in a box. So we're going to make sure that this all hangs, kind of looks nicely. Take the extra 2 seconds. Make it look good. Get rid of all the little weird hairs and stuff that's on there. All right, let's get a picture of this. So this is, again, with it being a darker item, I'm going to go ahead and change my exposure just slightly. Otherwise, it's going to look like a really, really light gray, which it is not. It is definitely a minorly faded black. All right, and then we're going to do our length here, which is great because I can also feature this little tag down here. Let me get out of the way. So if you guys are selling anything like Dickies or anything like Nike that have logos on the outside anywhere, always get photos of those because a lot of people will purchase them just because of that logo. They want that to be seen on their clothing. And so always get a picture of that if you can. I did not do that at the beginning, and I definitely saw a huge uptake in my sales for my name brand stuff when I started getting the logos in there. If it says like Omniwick, or if it says Heat Gear, or if it says Dry Fit, or anything like that, always get that included as well because that person is looking specifically for that. So is it important? Absolutely. And yes, I did take the piece of tape off the pocket so the person won't be getting a piece of tape. And let's get all this stuff off here. All these little linties. All these little guys. So this is an older Dickies too, it feels like. I would guess this is like probably a Y2K Dickies. It just has that feel. How do I know that? Because I just am that person that can tell with Y2K stuff. I don't know if it's because that's when I was doing most of my shopping at the mall or what, but I can just feel something and kind of get like a feel for the era. Now, there's a lot of sellers out there that can tell what an item is or the price by the feel because it feels like luxury. You show me a Coach bag, I can't tell you if it's real or not. You give me a Dickies in my hand, I can tell you what year this probably came out. So that's the cool thing about this job, though. It takes all different kinds, right? Hey, Mandy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. What do you set your phone to so the pics of black don't show gray? That's a great question. So up here, so I have an iPhone. I don't know if you're Android. It might be different on yours if you do. But up here at the top, you've got exposure. So if you just click on it, you're able to move this and it'll brighten or darken up. So for me, I usually leave it like right about at 0. When I do my stuff that's like black, I'll go right down in here. Like usually like a 0.3 will do it. If I have something that's really, really neon and it's looking like way brighter than what it actually is, I'll go up with the exposure a little bit. So that's how I do that. So that's a good question. Thanks for the like, Stephanie. Stephanie's showing the love tonight. That's one of my favorite names in the whole world because that actually was my mom's name. So that always makes me, it always warms my heart and makes me feel good. Yeah, that's a cool little trick. Learned that exposure trick from another reseller. Oh, the tag's gone. Otherwise, I was going to date this for you guys, but the tag's gone. I can just feel it. I can just tell. One other trick you can always do if you really want to start learning the years for stuff. I mean, that's how I learned how to date Levi's by touching them basically now is just from, knowledge. You can always look up items, not only by Google Lens, but you can also look up like, what year did Dickies start making their clothes in Honduras? You can look up that kind of stuff. If you see stuff that's made in Mexico, it's generally, and this is general, please don't quote me on this, generally stuff that says made in Mexico is going to be like more Y2K stuff. So that's not always true, but it does have some merit. So you can always look that up to kind of figure out what year it is if you want to go down, that rabbit hole. For me, I did a lot of that in the beginning because it helped me to just kind of get to know the clothing that I was looking at and selling. So that's a little trick that worked for me. And like I said, it worked really well for me learning Levi's for sure. What do you mostly sell? Clothing. Yes, I do mostly clothing. So I would say the following items: men's clothing, meaning jeans and a lot of Y2K stuff, followed by shoes, mainly men's, but I also do a lot of women's too. I got a whole bucket of Clarks down here. Followed by bags, hats, accessories. I do a lot of Y2K stuff. That's kind of really my jam. And then there's a whole caveat of a whole bunch of random things. So random toys, vintage toys. I sell a lot of video games. I have a whole thing of video games that I haven't had an opportunity to get listed yet. I just have so much stuff to list. It's like insane. So I do a lot of video games. But what I'll do is I'll get into video games for a month and I'll just power through mass amounts of them. And then I let them kind of stack up again. Because for me, when I do video games, it's the same thing as like the strange size clothings, like the 3XBs and like unusual sizes. When I do video games, if I can get a whole bunch listed at once, generally what happens is someone purchases a good amount to get a shipping discount. So I try to get a lot in all at once because it just saves me time. If you ever want to know how to do that kind of stuff, you can always look up variant listings. I will not even go into that because that is a whole situation that you have to learn. But it is definitely a valuable thing to learn. It's called variant listings, and you can use it for a lot of things. I didn't tell you that, but you can. So, okay, so we got our chest is 26 on that, so it'll be 52 around. Length is 31. Our shoulders are 21 on that, and I didn't see any flaws on it. It's in pretty good condition. I got these both at a sale. I rolled up, and this dude had like these sick fire Harleys in the front yard. They were so nice. It was like a husband-wife, I think, Harley situation, and they were like clean. Like I'm talking, these two get home from a ride and they immediately clean their Harleys. Like they were really nice. So I was like, oh my gosh, please let me find Harley stuff here. But they didn't have any Harley stuff for sale. I was like, oh man, bummer. Oh my gosh, that radio girl, nice to see you. All right, let's get this buttoned up here. Hopefully we don't have any more missing buttons tonight. Like I said, I am fairly certain that that button is in this room somewhere. We're just gonna hope that a dog didn't eat it or something, right? Like, hope that didn't happen. That would suck. I have one of my dogs that will literally eat anything. Like, they're not like a chewer or anything like that. It's more just like if something's on the floor, they don't even smell it to see if it's food, and it's immediately inhaled. So I always am a little concerned about that one. And then also, this is a little tip for Dickies, and this is something that I learned just from listing these enough. So the pocket will usually have on some of these work flex ones, not all of them, but I have seen it on the long sleeve. There'll be a space that looks like it's missing stitches, and it's not. It is for pins. So this is for pins. It also is, and it just goes in the pocket. So therefore pins are also for like tire gauges and stuff like that, because this is meant for work. So that is not a missing stitch. That is intentionally there. And I've seen it on these Dickie flexes, especially these ones here that are like that automotive worker kind of look, that automotive blue worker look. So that is a little tip for you, so you don't think that you ended up with a broken item. They just have that. So, hey, Mary and Bree, good to see you. Brianna is here. She's ready to look at some clothing. Okay. And And that's funny. The pockets bent up on this one, just like that other one. They must have been like laying the exact same way in someone's closet, like folded up together or something. That's funny. So just put a little tape on that. And this one definitely needs a little fresh roll thing. These are my favorite. Oh, that might be the end. Is that the end? We might have a couple more on here. These have been my favorite lint rollers too. These are the Kanezi brand. Let's see, do I have a, here's the, these are my favorite right here. The Kanezi ones. And this is in my little bio-y, linkety situation too. You can find these. I like them because they peel off like triangular, but I also like them because they don't. So the ones I was using before, I think I was using like Scotch Guard. I've tried a couple different brands, but when I would go like this and then I'd go back up again, they would peel off. And I had an entire thing of the Scotch ones. I actually had some left and I just tossed them. It's like the amount of time it's taking me to like fix them. Like I'd go like this and then up and it would just be like and come off. I'm like, okay, I'm done. You guys know that annoying thing when you're doing stuff and then all of a sudden you just like, you just go, okay, I'm done. I'm finished. Like the irritation sets in. You're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I am moving on with my life. I don't care that I spent money on this. It does not work and I am just over it. Like, I don't know about you, but that's how I am. And I am not someone that likes to buy things twice. I am not someone that likes to throw things away that I have, spent my money on. But there's also the sanity of not having an item that you literally are just like so annoyed by. And you just know that you'll never get it again. And then you just move on. All right. So we're going to mess with the exposure because I had that way down. I'm like, that does not look right. So we're going to put this back to a regular exposure here. And we're going to get a picture. And then we're going to do the shoulders first. So this is a 2XL as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one and that other one wind up going to the same person. And I don't know where this will sell. This it may be Depop. It could be eBay. I do sell a lot of like kind of like blue collar worker stuff over on eBay for sure. So it could go there as well. If someone's buying it for workwear, I'll sell it on eBay. If someone's buying it for like the skate indie, like, mildly rockabilly aesthetic, then they're probably going to buy that over on Depop. So I would say Depop is more of an aesthetic kind of place. People are buying stuff over on Depop for two reasons. They're either buying it over on Depop because it's a name brand, or they're buying it because it fits with whatever look they want to achieve aesthetically, meaning skate, grunge, Western, punk, biker, cyber, edgy, alternative, goth, whimsy goth, cottagecore, all the different aesthetics. All right, so let's get a picture of the back of this. Then we'll get the tag here. Oh, we got to do the puzzle piece thing. I wish I didn't have to always do that. There we go. Oh, come on. Put the puzzle piece in there. There we go. Perfect. Wonderful. How long do these usually sit before they sell? Are you talking about these Dickies ones? Not long. These usually sell pretty quickly for me. But again, it's so hard to say because I'll list something like I listed a Nike hoodie last night and it sold at 5:30 this morning. But I have other Nike hoodies that have been up for a month and a half. So trying to figure that out is like asking, how many people are going to go into Walmart and buy cheddar Lay's today? Well, 100 may go in on a Tuesday, and then the next Tuesday, nobody goes in and buys them. So I think that's always like a hard question. My stuff turns and burns pretty quickly, meaning that if I get it up, I want it out. My goal is to never have to delist and relist something. I do it all the time. You have to do it, right? It's the game. But if I can get that item sold, even if I sell it for $2 or $3 less than what the market's selling it for, I don't have to relist it. I don't want to spend my time doing that. Like, that time is money. That's not money to me. So in my opinion, I want to be as fairly priced as I can, maybe pad my shipping just a little bit, give someone a good deal. They're scratching my back, I'm scratching theirs, and I'm getting this item out so I can get something else listed in my store. Yeah, Shauna, you're with me. That's what we're doing. Seller name, nice comps. Yep, absolutely. Hey, is it Rai? Hi. That was one of my son's best friends growing up. His name was Ryan, but we called him Rai or Rai Guy. I don't know if that's what yours is. It's about that time, ain't it? What time is it? What time? I don't know what time it is. Am I missing something? Do I have FOMO? Is that what's happening? What time? Time for what? Hi, Amal. Dinner. Oh, it is about that time. Oh my gosh, have I eaten? Did I eat today? Oh yeah, we had it's actually my anniversary today. 9 years. Husband's still on the clock in the other room. Yeah, I had a sandwich for lunch. It was delicious with homemade sourdough bread because I home make all of our bread because I'm too cheap to buy bread from the store. So we had sandwiches and Good Culture cottage cheese. I don't go for the low fat one though because I like the one that's got higher fat content. It is yummy. So we had that for lunch. So yeah, I guess it is getting about that time. Tonight for dinner will be, we had a bunch of chicken that had to get cooked up. So we put it in a crock pot with a couple of jars of the green salsa verde. You put all that in there, you cook a ton of chicken up, and you got chicken for a couple days. So I think we're going to do that with some homemade tortillas tonight, I think is the key. Dinner time for the dogs is past, though. We missed it. That was at 7 p.m. my time. You know, that squeaking was going on. And then Jack came in the room. For those of you that have not been on here before, my little terrier, Jack, when he gets done eating, he burps. So he always comes and finds me. And I say, where's my burps? Mama needs her burps. So he's probably in the other room going, what? So yeah, so he always comes in and burps. It's ridiculous. Oh, thank you for the anniversary. Hey, thanks, you guys. Yeah, it is hammer time. 9 years, my favorite number. Yes. Yeah, we've been together for 14 now, married for 9. Hey, Sonia. Hey, thanks for the follow. All right. So let's see. That one is done. What do we have next? Ooh, we got a pair of charities, Bread and Butters. Bread and Butters. You guys know I love Levi's. I sell so many Levi's. I think I listed 12 pairs of Levi's today. I get them from garage sales because that's where they are inexpensive. This is a little pair of black Levi's. These are a 2015 Levi. So not modern, but not Y2K in the weird time. But these have the vertical stitching. So I'm going to show you this. If you haven't joined us before, you'll notice how the stitching on this goes down versus a pair that has, let's see, do we have another pair in here? Oh my gosh, you guys, look at all this stuff. This is crazy. Okay, so these aren't Levi's, but these will give you a good example. So these are what's called a cross knit. So the knit kind of goes down and down, down. There's like millions of little X's. So this is a cross knit. And then these are like a vertical knit or a vertical stitch. Now, the reason that I like the vertical ones is because people that buy these buy them for that reason, because the vertical stitching does not shrink as easily as the cross knit stitching. So you'll find that your Levi's that have that kind of cross knit, let's say they started out as a 36-32, they're probably like a 34-30. But on the vertical stitching ones, they don't tend to shrink as much. Now, I've seen them shrink. This is not a rule, but I definitely put that in the listing because people like to see that. We have the same name. Are you actually a charity? No. Really? You guys. Okay, I'm taking a second here. Crimson, Crimson knows this. If your name is Charity, we meet so few of us. Like I've only met, I think, 3. Well, hi, Charity. I think I've only met 3 Charities in my entire life. Like, it's a really, really rare name. I was almost Windy City, so I'm happy that I ended up Charity. My parents got married on a hilltop wearing matching red wedding dresses with like daisy chains and like burlap bags that said love. Like, so I almost ended up something really, really even more creative. But I think I was named after like a great aunt. I think my dad had a great aunt named Charity. And I love my name. I love it. So congratulations. Okay, does everyone call you Chastity after hearing your name? I almost said it every time. I'm like, nope, it's Charity. And they're like, oh, okay. I've met 2 people with my first and last name locally. Are you? Well, Jennifer, I mean, your name is more common. So that makes sense. But maybe you might have a common last name too. Which that's probably tough because people are like, wait, which one? Who? Like you could have a mistaken identity pretty easily. I went to school with a couple interesting names. I went to school with a Morningstar Vreeland, an Avocado Honeybee Stilts. So I'm from that like era of like the hippie parents that then were like, oh, we're going to name our kids something really wild and crazy. So I didn't end up Windy City though. So no offense, Chicago. It wasn't because of Chicago. They were going to name me that. So I'm just happy that I ended up where I am. Are your sisters Faith and Hope? I went to Catholic school. No, they weren't. LOL. Yep, I get that one too. My girlfriend is Planet Swan. Whoa. Whoa, that's a name. That's a name. Yeah, we're from the creative era names. Hey, Angie. All right, let's get these up here and get these photographed. So pick these up for, I think, $1, maybe $1.50. I'm a garage sale girl. As you guys know, I live for the garage sale. One of the reasons we moved down here to Texas is so I could do this and garage sale all year round because I was living up in Washington State where even though people will tell you it doesn't rain all the time, those people are not telling you the truth. It rains all the time. So, yeah, it rains all the time, literally. All right, the exposure on that's looking a little funky. So because of the rain, let's see, let's get back to 0. Let's take a look at that. I think that looks good. Because it rains there so much of the year, the garage sale season starts in like end of May, beginning of June, if you're lucky. And then it ends like the first or second week sometimes of September. So you really only get like maybe 7 weeks of garage sales there. You don't get a whole lot. So here, I mean, in Texas, you're going to get it way more. Depends on which part of Washington State. Yeah, if you're in Eastern Washington, it doesn't rain all the time. In fact, Eastern Washington is way more like deserty. I used to live in Ellensburg, which is like right dead center for Washington. In Washington, for anybody that doesn't know, Washington is really interesting because when you're in the Puget Sound, so all that water there, you know, it's rainy, and then you cross this mountain range called Snoqualmie, and you get to the other side, and it's literally like desert. It's so weird. It's like desert. Go over Snoqualmie, pine trees, rain. It's a very, very interesting state. Okay, let's get these measured here. So it'll be interesting to see how much these have shrunk up to, because like I said, Levi's do shrink, but the vertical stitch ones are definitely not as bad as the others. So look at that. We're going to get the rise, which these are a little bit of a higher rise. This is kind of like dabbling into the dad core, mom core, you know, mom jean rise there. Let's see. And then our inseam is going to be, so I bet these were originally like maybe a 30-ish or something like that. We'll find out here in a second. And then I always do the ankles. Now, I know a lot of resellers don't do the ankles, but I always do the hips and the ankles because, like, I have wider calves. Like, my calves are like a wider, meatier size. And because of that, like, there's a lot of jeans that would fit me here, but they won't fit me down on my ankles. So I just know from personal experience that I like having that ankle width. And I buy, like I said, I buy a lot of my clothing used. So I know all about getting a pair of pants and not being able to get them up over my meaty legs. All right, I think we are almost at the end of this. There might be like maybe one more there. So we've done a lot of darker clothing tonight. So these are in pretty good condition. A little bit of fading, but they're nice little pair of 559s. Again, this is just a bread and butter pair of jeans. Now on Levi's, I always get the full back, but then I also get up here by the pocket because people will purchase these Levi's. Some people won't like that the label is still really crisp on these. Some people will only buy them if the label is crisp. So I want to make sure I don't, kill my demographic by trying to not get a picture of that. So, okay, let's get a photo here of the tag. So these are a pair of 2015s. Does anybody need to know how to time date their Levi's that's in here tonight? I know I've shared it on other lives, so that's why I ask, because I don't need to explain it if you guys already know. Anybody on YouTube too? Hey, Lindsay on YouTube. Nice to see you. So yeah, if anybody needs to know, you guys need to know. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is a newer pair. Now you'll know it's a newer pair of Levi's because the date, all the tags will be in the front. If it's an older pair of Levi's, it's going to be along the back here. So this is a newer pair. And what you're going to do on the newer pairs is you're going to flip to this label right here. So you're going to have all the long tags, and then you're going to flip to this label here, okay? And you're going to look for the CW. Now, I realize this is probably going to be backwards for you guys, but can everybody see that CW? It's right here up in the corner, that CW. So that is where your date's going to be. And this says 2515. So that means that these were created the 25th week of 2015. So on the newer pair of Levi's, it goes by the number of weeks in the month. Old Levi's go by the month. For example, a pair of 1994s may say 0594. And that means they came out in May of 94. Now, on the newer ones, it's going to be the week of the year. So these came out the 25th week of 2015. And then on your older Levi's, you're also not going to have the CW, but you will have a button code. And I will go over that here in just a second. Let me just get these written down. So these were originally a 3630. And I guarantee the length on these probably hasn't shrank much. The weight might have, or the waist might have. But let's see. So our ankle is an 8. Our inseam is a 29, so it's only shrank up 1 inch. Our hips are a 20.5, so that's going to be a 41. Our rise is, these are a little bit of a higher rise, not crazy high, but it's an 11, which is a little high for Levi's. And then our waist is still a 36. So that just goes to show you this vertical stitching really does make a huge difference for people. So always put in your descriptions like vertical stitch, vertical knit. And then a lot of people don't know what that means. So I will put in there, keeps the item from shrinking as much as usual or something along those lines. I have it in my copy paste. Kaylee's here. Hi. Hi, Sherry. Okay. So on the newer Levi's, you'll see the CW. So again, just to recap, 2515 means they came out the 25th week of 2015. On your older Levi's, what you're going to do is you're going to look for the button code. And where that is inside the button of every pair of Levi's, is going to be some digits right here. You're going to take those digits and you're going to look at the tag and you're going to find those digits. I don't know if we have any older Levi's in here. These are going to be newer as well. If I had an older pair, I just did all my older Levi's earlier today. Are these older? No, those are Ariats. Yeah, I don't think I have any in here. So on the older pairs, you're going to look for that button code. After the button code, so the button code's probably like 0427 or something. So you're like, well, that can't be year 2027 because that doesn't make sense. That's the button code. After that, you're going to see 4 digits, and that'll be the month and the year. For example, let's say the button on this, let's just pretend these are an older pair. And let's say the button code said 123. I'm going to look at the tag. I'm going to find 123, and then I'm going to look for those 4 numbers after that 123. So let's just say it said 0594. That means that those were made in May of 94. Does that make sense, everybody? Any questions on that? I know when I first started doing this, it was so hard for me to get a straight answer on this. I think the only other person I've ever seen really describe it correctly, and if you guys have, no offense, I just haven't seen it, CC Flips. He knows how to do it as well. I was watching one of his videos the other day, and I was like, he knows how to read the Levi's code. Why is that important? I sell a lot of Levi's, and I'll tell you what, my old listings that still don't have the dates on them, because I've been going through my old listings and trying to like beef them up and stuff. My older listings sit without the dates. My new listings with Levi's generally sell within the first like 2 weeks they're up, just by having that date on there, because there's different people. Some people want modern, some people want vintage, some people want Y2K, some people want that in between time. You know, they're like, man, I really liked Levi's from like the 2015 era. Ooh, there's a pair of 2015s, and they'll get them. Yes, I'm happy to see you, Kaylee. Hey, Princess. Oh, Dear Magnet's here. Hey, hey. Loot Fam, is that another person? Ooh, I'm not following them. So I did this because you guys always have little people I should be following. So I got myself I found an old little notepad with a million little things in it. Because you know me, I'm going to recycle. And I wanted to start writing down the names of these people that you tell me, because I want to make sure I follow them. So I got Loot Fam written down. Thank you, Mrs. Risner. All right, so these are 927. Did we get a picture of that yet? No, we did not. So we need to get a picture of our number, and then we will write the SKU down here. So that's 927, and that is our Levi's. They originally were a 3630, and they are now, wait, didn't we? Oh, I already had them in a 926. Just kidding. Just kidding. Taking them. We'll just change this to 927. Just kidding. We almost did it. We almost had a boo-boo. I caught myself. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Next, we have a pair of Ariats. Got these for $1 at a garage sale this weekend. Ariats have a 100% sell-through. Even I have got the most destroyed Ariats at garage sales, and they still always sell. So I would highly suggest picking up Ariats. That's Ariat. If you're not familiar with the brand. The thing about Ariats, and I'm convinced this is why they sell so well. One, they're really well made. But two, they fit a very large like demographic of people. So Ariats are going to be your people that are into like MMA, Affliction, Ed Hardy, kind of that rock and roll aesthetic. They also are Western, cowboy, rodeo, workwear. So they're all of that. But then they're also, they fit into, like, they can fit into like a grunge aesthetic. They can fit into a punk aesthetic. They can fit into an edgy aesthetic. They can fit into a preppy aesthetic. So I think because of that, you have such a huge market of people that can purchase them that they just have such a great sell-through rate. The rope, yes, if you go over to my page and just clickety on the linkety there, it'll lead you over to the old Amazons, and you can click on that and you'll see it. It's in like reseller tools. Best money I ever spent. I've had this too, you guys, for it went garage selling with me all last summer. It's been garage selling with me all this summer, and I wear it around to concerts now because I don't want to lose my phone. Left my cell phone in a porta potty and lost it once, so I don't want to do that again. Hey, Melon. Hey, Moonbeam. Okay, let's get this up here. So this is a little pair of Ariats, and they are actually in pretty good condition. They have a couple little grungy spots. Again, don't be shy with your tape. If you need to put a little tape down when you're doing this, just remember to take it out. You know, if my pockets are flipped and stuff like that, this is all stuff that would just come out if someone was washing theirs, but it's just how it's been folded in the box. So I always just pop a little tape on there and it makes it look good. Just remember to take the tape off. I'm sure I have been guilty of not doing that from time to time. I'm sure some customers have ended up with tape. So we're going to get these measured out here. And Ariats are just such a good quality jean too. I think that's why they sell so well, is they're just so well made. All right. I would wear them if I wore jeans, but for anyone that's ever been on this live before, you know that I am literally a shorts person. So I wear shorts. I am a warm girl all the time. So I live in shorts. I made a terrible mistake. Man, I don't even know. I thought that there was a spot on this, but now I don't even see it. So if I can't see it in this bright light, it's probably not worth noting. Did I get an ankle picture? Yeah, we went to a concert at a place here in Austin called Stubbs. It's like the Stubbs barbecue sauce. And it was a nighttime concert. And so I was like, well, maybe it'll cool down a little bit. So I wore a pair of Judy blue capris. So they were like that kind of like stretchy tight, you know, but they were really cute. They have like all this distressing on them, and they have like that kind of punk aesthetic. We were going to it's a Y2K cover band called Y'all Out Boy instead of Fall Out Boy. They were great, but we get there and I'm like, I'm a little warm, but no big deal. And then I proceeded to get warmer and warmer and warmer, and I'm dying, and I can feel these pants just so sweaty, and there's people all around me, but I decided to just deal with it. I had a pair of shorts in the car, but that was like a hike to get back to it, and I didn't want to leave the concert and lose my spot, so I just dealt with it. So we got out of that concert though, and I got home, and my legs were bruised around my kneecap area just from the compression and the heat of those pants. So I will not be making that mistake again. Charity will never wear pants to a concert before. I have been to probably 5,000 concerts in my life, and I have never dealt with that before. But you guys have to also remember, I mean, I grew up in like the Seattle area, so it's always cold there, so it's like not as big of a deal. But here, man, if you are in Texas, you have no business wearing pants in the middle of summer to a concert. It was, as we say, a very bad decision. But that's okay. The concert was fun, and we had a good time. I just regretted that. So, all right. So we got the sizing. Is there any other? I always look for any other tags because some people like to have like every single little piece of information. These do have a little bit of distressing on the edges here, back here, probably from cowboy boots. Weirdly enough, they'll probably sell faster because of that, which is so bananas, I know. But that way they're like, it's like having a pair of Docs that are like worn in. Man, they like, everybody wants a used pair of Docs. They don't want to have to wear in the pants, right? Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, BJ Pierce. Hey, Miss Sue. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're almost at 3,000 hearts too. Holy smokes. And we did hit our goal too. I have over 3,600 followers now. So, and that's you guys. I really appreciate it. I mean, I've only been on this TikTok adventure. I did some posts in the past, but I hadn't started going live until about 3 weeks ago. So it's been an adventure, and I actually really like it, man. I'll tell you what, being able to be in this room and not just like doing this in the quiet by myself, or just like I'd have other TikTok people on and stuff, and it's nice to watch, but it's also nice to like participate and be a part of it. So, and it always seems like nobody was on like doing this when I was working. So I work really kind of weird hours. I work a weird and strange schedule. All right, so these originally were a 38.30. Let's take a look and see what they are now. So our ankles are a 9. Looks like our inseam is a 30. Areoles don't usually shrink up much. Hips are going to be a 47. So that's what we call like loose in the thigh. So make sure in your descriptions, if you've got pants that have that extra kind of a little bit in the hip area, let's say that they're a 38 waist and the hips are like somewhere around like 45, 45-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Make sure you do loose through the thighs, baggy fit, because there's a lot of people that are looking just for that fit. And they don't know that Ariat style number 8765339 is that. They don't know that. All they know is they want something loose in the thigh, baggy in the thigh. So make sure you put that in your descriptors because it really will make a big difference. So these are 11 rise, and then the waist is going to be a 38. So these haven't shrunk at all. This right here too, by the way, you guys, for those of you that don't know, those horizontal lines right there, those are called whiskers, like cat whiskers. If you have those in your jeans, please make sure you put that in the description, because they will sell merely because they have that. So make sure you get those in there. Like I see a lot of people say that they struggle with like selling like Miss Me jeans. I can't keep Miss Me jeans in my store. They sell so fast because because they got the whiskers, whiskering, horizontal whiskers. Miss Me's are cool. Sometimes behind the kneecap, they'll have like a starburst look to them. And they have like lines that go up behind the knee, and that's called a starburst whiskers. So that right there will really, really help you. Well, just 3 weeks, you're great at it. Oh, thank you, Marie. Well, that's an awesome compliment. That makes me feel good. Hey, I told my husband, I was like, I'm just going to get on there and talk, and either people like it and we create friendships and it's amazing, or people are going to be like, whoa, that girl's too much. And he goes, yeah, that's really about what they'll think, because it's going to be one of the two. And you know what? I'm totally cool with it because that's me. Hey, Cynthia. Hubs loves the too much. I don't know how you're not a teacher. Oh, that's funny. I actually used to teach cosmetology. There's a place called Jean Juarez in Seattle. It's a kind of fancy hair salon place, and I used to teach there, so that's funny. Loving life. So good call. Really way different than teaching teaching this. Totally different. Okay, you can tell I used to be a stylist. There's the scissors. All right, what else do we got here? We got a pair of 7s. So I picked up a whole bunch of these this week. Now, weirdly enough, this wasn't actually a brand that I was super familiar with. I know 7 for All Mankind, but these are just 7s. So I just didn't know much about it, but I found a whole bunch of them. And what attracted me was this stuff back here. So all of this like embroidery stitching, this back here is going to be why these pants sell. There's a couple little random little fibers. We're going to get this off. So these are going to sell to a large demographic of people as well. So this is going to be edgy, preppy, Western, cowgirl, punk rock, metal, biker life, biker core, moto life, moto core. Like the amount of people that are going to purchase these jeans, there's just so many people that will buy them, which is why I picked them up. And they were $1. So I don't even know what the sell-through rate on these are. I didn't even check. I just literally was like, oh, these are all $1 at a garage sale and they have thick stitch embroidery. I'm in. So that's what this is called, by the way, guys. If you're selling these kind of pants like Miss Me's or anything with this kind of stitching that looks like this, it has another term. I can't remember what it is because people don't call it that on like on Depop. They just call it thick stitch. So thick stitch or embroidered is another term for that. Those are great terms to put in any of your Miss Me jeans or anything that has like that thick, True Religions have that a lot. Let's see what else has that. Ariats, a lot of Ariats you'll find will have that. Some Lucky brands, some of the Lucky brands will have that. Not all of them, but some of them. What else has thick stitch? There's a couple other brands out there that have that. But that is a certain aesthetic that people really, really like. So we're going to get these up here, get some photos of these. And what's kind of cool, too, about all these 7s is I think they're all about the same size, which is great because, again, I'm going to be able to sell probably multiple pairs. So what I'll probably do is the person, when they buy these, I will send them my copy-paste message, which is always like, hey, thanks so much for your order. I'll get this out ASAP. If you run into any issues, you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message here on the app. And by the way, I have a couple other pair of 7s for sale. If you're interested in bundling them together, I can go ahead and do that for you. And depending on the app, in eBay, I'll say, and I'll refund you the difference in the app, or they can put all a bundle together and then I can send them one price. If it's on Depop, they automatically get free shipping with the bundle. So I'll send them a message that says, hey, and if you get another pair, you're going to actually get free shipping if you're interested. So it's just a way to kind of encourage that to happen. I keep confusing Miss Me and Mia. Look, oh, yeah. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about, Opal. I know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, La Bella. Hey, La Bella. Hey, nice to see you. Okay, so you got a picture of the front of these. These have that like that big button that like True Religions have. So they're probably going to be that same aesthetic for people that are buying that look. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to always do hips. Especially, I do them on all jeans, but especially on women's jeans. Always do the hips on women's jeans. Otherwise, you're going to get a message that says, what is the leg opening? Or you're going to get a message that says, are these tight? How tight are these jeans? Or you just won't get any message at all, and people will pass them by because they can buy them from somebody else that already has that. So I always do the hips. Now I didn't used to do the hips, and my jeans didn't sell as much. And I have just found that by doing that, they just sell so much better. So I'm just clipping off a couple little strings here. Nothing that's going to cause any issues or anything like that. So we're going to get a picture of the back of these. And then, like I said, on jeans, I always get a photo of the tag and the pocket, especially on something that's got an embroidered pattern like this. Oh, honey, I said pattern right. Oh, I said it twice. You don't understand. I've been working on that word for a long time. I don't want to say how I usually say it because then I'll start saying it like that again. There's a couple other words. I said, oh, see, I'm going to mess it up. I said pattern right. I think about it for a second. I got a couple other words. Stricranthemum. It's the flower. Nope. Chrysanthemum. Nope. Chrysanthemum. Nope. It's not happening tonight, folks. It's not happening tonight. That's okay. Oh, I can't do that one either. Wait, say it again. Worcestershire. Wait, one more time. Worcestershire. There we go. Oh, that was pretty good. Yep. So that's how my brain works. It makes its own choices and decisions. I want to know. All right, guys, spill the beans. What are your words? What are your words? I love that picture setup. Yeah, I do too, Big E. Hey, Jonna. Chris and the mom. I like that. Chris and the mom. AG Force. Welcome back in. Oh my gosh. What is your guys' word? Come on. Don't be shy. You know you have it. What word do you guys have that's like really difficult, or you feel like you always are like messing up? Or maybe one that your littles do, or something that they always say weird. When my son was little, he would always say miles per hour. So he'd be like, hey mom, how fast are you going? And I'd say, oh, I don't know, how fast do you think I'm going? He'd say 32 miles per hour. I loved that. He also would say, do you guys remember that 70s show? I'm sure everybody remembers that 70s show. At the end of their song, they say, "Hello, Wisconsin." And he always thought they said, "Hello, for God's sakes." So I'd be in the other room, and that would just like come on the TV because the TV was on, whatever. And he'd be singing along with the song. And then at the very end, he'd be like, "Hello, for God's sakes." Oh, my ex, which is why he's an ex, is the one that spoiled that. He's like, and they say hello for God's sake. And Isaiah was like, oh, okay. And then that was it. I was like, you took it. You took hello for God's sakes from me. LOL. You guys don't have any words. You don't have any words, and your kids don't have any like funny words that you say or can't say. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. I have so many of them. Yeah. We want to know the truth. All right. So 930. These are our 7s. Let's see. Originally, they were a size. Oh, where is the size on these? You guys, where's the size on these? I just realized that's not in the picture. I just can't think of them. Oh, it's okay, Jonna. You'll think of it at like 3 in the morning. You'll be like, oh, you'll think of the word and be like, oh my gosh, is that little crazy girl still on the thing? Oh, here it is. Okay, it's a little like patch thing off to the side. Okay, we found it. Crisis averted. I was like, oh my gosh, do not tell me that none of these pants have the size on them, because that would be so much work. I had to do that earlier with a couple pairs of, I had one pair of Levi's that didn't have the size tag. And then I had a couple Y2K shirts that didn't have the tags. Really super common for that. They just get, ripped off. I definitely am guilty of ripping tags off in the past. Now I keep the tags on everything, no matter how annoying they are, because I'm a reseller. My 2-year-old calls my newborn Mopey. Her name is Penelope. Oh, Jennifer, you just killed me. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Honey, Jennifer says, my 2-year-old calls my newborn Mopey. Her name is Penelope. Oh, that's so cute. Hey, Melon. And KT Capricorn. KT Capricorn, are you a Capricorn? Okay, so that was a 14 or something. I know we took a picture of it. Let's look at the photo. They are a 14 skinny jean. And what is the measurements on that? Let's find out. So we got an ankle of 6. We have an inseam of 28. We have a rise of 8. And we have hips at 19.5, which would be 49. My brain is like, you can tell it's getting tired when it can't do math anymore. My mathin' ain't mathin'. And then our waist is an 18, so technically a 36, but it's not quite a 36. We're going to call it a 35. Here's what I have learned on women's jeans. If you think it is even remotely closer to a 36 or 35 than 36, you put the smaller size, because very rarely is someone going to try to return something because they're like, wow, these jeans are like a half an inch too big for me. Said no woman ever. However, there's so many women that will say these jeans are 1/2 an inch too small for me. You did not measure these correctly, and they will be in a frenzy. Therefore, you just put down the smaller size and you go with it. Hello. Oh, you guys, will you guys say hello to each other? Warms the cockles of my heart. We're bringing folks together. Okie dokie, dinner's almost done. Gonna head out. Have a good night. Have a great night, Marie. We're gonna actually do one more here, one more pair of jeans, and then I'm gonna head out too because it's the anniversary. And Hubs is making up some homemade tortillas. Homemade from scratch tortillas. That's what I'm talking about. To go with some of our chicken that was going to go bad, so we put it in the old crock pot because I don't want to throw out food. I don't know about you guys. Food is so expensive. Who can afford blueberries? Let's not throw away food. All right, putting this up here. We're going to get a picture of the front of these. So these are going to be kind of maybe a different kind of girl that's going to buy these than the last one. These have a super boho flared leg, has that distressing. These are going to be more of a Bratz, Y2K, Phoebe Buffet, Paris Hilton purchase, whereas those last ones are probably going to be more rock. But here's the great thing about descriptive words. We're going to put it all in. And then whoever sees it and wants to buy it can buy it. There's an interesting thing with this younger generation. And by younger generation, I mean between the ages of like 15 to like 23. So when I was a kid and you went to school, you kind of fit into a category. Not because you wanted to, but that's just kind of what you fit into. So you were either like an art kid, or you were like a nerdy kid, or you were, a preppy kid, or a jock. Maybe you were a rocker. Like there was all sorts of different words for kind of your friends and the group you hung out with. Now, what is really interesting about this next generation is that they kind of choose how they want to look depending on kind of how they're feeling for the day. So one day they may want to wear these and match it with like, a little crop toppy, flowy boho-y shirt with their hair up messy. Maybe like the old rose that we used to do in the 90s, which are back, like where you twist it back in the triangles with the butterfly clips. They may want to wear that one day with a pair of little platform wicker clogs or something. And then 2 days later, they're going to decide they want to look whimsy goth, and they're going to come in a little pink tutu with a black shirt with a bunch of like strings on it with, more spiky hair and knee-high docks and, striped leggings. And then 4 days after that, they're going to come in a vintage Old Navy cargo pants and old Columbia University sweatshirt, and they're going to look more preppy for the day. So I think by putting extra descriptive words, I guess this is where I'm going with this. By putting extra descriptive words in there, it gets them thinking. Like maybe they went on Depop or wherever looking for a pair of rocker jeans, but while they're on there, I've got rocker as a descriptor in a pair of boho jeans, and they just happen to see those and they're like, oh, those actually would be great too. So I can wear these. If I get these, I can wear these like, in a few weeks. But if I get these, I can wear these to the concert. So it's kind of morphed where instead of it being so genre specific according to kind of like who you are and that being your identity is able to kind of like morph a little bit. And everyone can kind of be whatever they're feeling for the day. I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh, great, AT. Awesome. Yeah. So my backdrop here, if you go into, when you hop off here, you can go up into our biography here in TikTok. You can clickety on there and look at all the stuff that we have in the old Amazon-y if you want to see what we used. But if you want the full tutorial with all the links to be able to see everything, then you got to go head over to the YouTube-y. And if you look, just look up nice comps and you'll find it, and you'll see the photo setup. There's a video in there that is literally start to finish on how to do this. This has been the best setup. This is our third attempt at a setup, and I'll just never change it. That was me, cosplay every day. And that's and cosplay is even one of the words now on Depop you can use for your categories, because that kind of encompasses a lot of different personalities. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Creekside's here. Hey, Creekside, good to see you. All right, let's get a picture of the back of these here. And then we're going to do our pocket as usual. So everyone can see that nice embroidery, because that is going to be what sells these jeans. Well, three things are going to sell these jeans: distressed fronts, boho flared bottoms, and MMA affliction thick stitch back stitch. That is going to be what helps to sell these pants. So if you're having an issue with selling jeans or anything like that, it is really important that you get those trigger words and those descriptor words in your descriptions, because that's going to be what makes and breaks you and separates you. Because I mean, there's tens and tens of thousands of jeans for sale. That's really going to be what separates you, is those descriptor words in your description describing someone. And if you're ever trying to figure out, oh man, I just don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, I am working on a full-on key list thing. I just have been so busy listing. I've been busy working. So it is something I'm working a little bit on, trying to get all that together along with different aesthetics so you can see some images, because it really has helped me. I mean, it's probably helped me more than anything. Learning keywords, learning descriptors, it has really changed our business. I mean, we figured out earlier today how much we did last month in a 30-day time period. So before this, so I've only been full-time reselling now for about a little over 4 months. I guess it's been about 4.5 months now. Before that, I was dabbling. I wouldn't say that I could even quantify as like a part-time reseller. And so I've only been doing this full-time for a few months now. And I look back at my earlier listings, so like from like 4 months ago or whatever, that are sitting there because I don't have any descriptors in there. So those are ones I'm, delisting and relisting. But if I had to tell you how much we were making before we started doing descriptors and keywords, I would say I was maybe making like $600 a month, $500 a month profit. But then of course you got to put like sourcing in there and everything. So maybe not even quite that much. Now I figured out last month, we did, even after all of my costs, all of my gas, all of my, what it cost me to pick up the items, all of the fees, literally everything encompassed. It's not down to the dollar because Lord knows I have not been the best about a spreadsheet. But I figured out kind of roughly, and it looks like we made like $3,900 in take-home profit. So if that doesn't show you consistently listening every day, if there's anything I could tell you to do, is even get just one up. It makes a huge difference. Otherwise, you get out of the algorithm and you are no longer riding the wave, baby. You've been kicked out of the pool and you got to figure out how to get back in. So you gotta list every day at least one item. But more importantly, those description words, those keywords, those trigger words you guys hear we talk about all the time. I mean, I would say our sales are up 1,000% just by putting those in there. So thank you, Bella. And I'm not saying that, MMA, mixed martial arts, yep. I'm not saying this as a brag because it's not. I mean, heck yeah, it's great that we made that. I can pay some bills. But really, I'm just saying that for those of you out there that or if you are struggling and you're not having things, move out of your store, go to my eBay or go to my Depop or whatever and look at some of our listings. Not all of them will have this because, like I said, I still am working. But if you sort by like newest listed items, you'll be able to see it, and just go in the descriptions and look at what I'm doing in there. And my best advice until I can get this whole like descriptor, PDF together for you is imagine the person that's wearing an outfit. So like if I hold up this pair of pants, for instance, we'll do this and then I'll hop off and spend some time with the hubs. But if I hold up this pair of pants, right? It's a little pair of Dickies. It's a little pair of workwear pants, nothing fancy. There's probably 1 million pairs of black pants on sale on the platforms, right? So what's going to separate me from everyone else isn't that my pictures are a billion times better. Like, yeah, that helps and all that helps. What's going to help me is when I'm describing this item and I'm putting those trigger words in, I need to think of who's buying these. So who's buying these pants? All right. So here's a chick. She's wearing these, right? So these to me say punk because they've got that dark black look. I could see it with a punk rock t-shirt. They also say indie, which stands for independent. That's a hipster, okay? They also remind me of emo. They also remind me of workwear because they could be for someone that's working at a coffee stand, or maybe you're required to wear black pants for your job at, Smitty's Kitchen or whatever, or you're a hostess somewhere. And you still want to look edgy. You don't want to wear the clothes that everyone else is wearing. You want to wear something a little edgy, so you want to get some Dickies. So that's who this girl is. So she's rock and roll, emo, indie. Maybe she's into skater boys. So you put in there skater, SK8. Who wears these? So all you have to do is just hold an image up and really ask yourself the question, who's wearing this tracksuit? Who's wearing this old granny core stuff? Who's wearing this? What dude's wearing this? Well, a dad core, a grandpa, vacation, summer, rockabilly, swingers, like the movie Swingers. Maybe the Big Lebowski's wearing this. You just got to think of the person that's wearing it. So instead of just describing the item and being so clinical and being like, medium cream, vacation shirt, Hawaiian, soft, washed. What does that mean? There's 50 billion of those online for sale. But you start talking about dad core, you start talking about Hawaiian vacation, you start talking about it's soft, it's breathable, great for sweat, great for the sweaty. That's in half my listings. Like, that's who's wearing this. This is some dude that's like 55 years old on vacation with his wife, for their 20th or 25th wedding anniversary. So you think about all those kind of things and it'll really help. So that's my tip for this evening. I will work on my descriptive words this week. Yes, I don't think it will help Creekside. I know it will help. I know that it'll help. Hey, Crafty One. All right, you guys, I'm going to head out for the old anniversary dinner here. We're actually going to be out tomorrow night celebrating. We're going to do some mini golf. I'm very excited. And we're going to stop by our favorite ramen place. So I will not be on tomorrow night, but I will be on tomorrow earlier in the day, probably getting the rest of the stuff photographed because my room literally looks like a disaster. So have a great, how many items do you have listed right now? I think I've got like 800 in my eBay. It would be way more than that, but I usually sell about 10 items a day. So it's like in and out. A lot of those listings are old listings. I would say at least 600 of them are just like old stale listings. So, all right, you guys have a beautiful, wonderful evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. And bye to everybody on YouTube. I appreciate you guys stopping by, whether you are watching this live or you're watching it on the replay. I appreciate you coming in. If you have any questions, you can find me literally anywhere on social media. I'm Nice Comps. All right, guys. Bye, everybody.